When you put your hand in my jacket, I'm thinking so irrational. You flew me international now. We can spend hours reading the signals, but that's so unoriginal.
Hosted in this absolutely incredible location. My name is Paul Kay, and I have the pleasure of welcoming you here this morning. To the members of the media, to the members of Ville de Nice, Nice Label, to all our athletes, and to everybody around the world, we say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening as you sit at your laptops at work, pretending to work. The most important thing you can be doing right now is listening to our pre-race press conference for the 2023 VinFast IRONMAN World Championship in Nice, France, speaking to 10 of our professional men. We have athletes from 93 countries, regions, and territories, more than 2,200 of them. We have 1,700 volunteers. We have the most incredible location, and we have a huge amount of nerves, excitement, and anticipation awaiting us before what will be a phenomenal day on Sunday of swim, bike, and run as we make history. I'd like to start the morning by welcoming the President and CEO of Ironman, Mr. Andrew Messick.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome everyone to Nice. There is an old saying that necessity is the mother of invention, and after the events of Kona in October of 2022, I think we certainly proved that. It is extraordinary to be here, and the set of circumstances that led to us having the 2023 VinFast IRONMAN World Championship here in Kona. We were able to, through necessity, to invent what I certainly believe, and we certainly believe, is an extraordinary solution, which is to have an Ironman World Championship in what is arguably, and the Deputy Mayor Minetti will talk about whether in fact Nice is the second city of triathlon historically, or whether perhaps it is the first. But certainly the history of long distance triathlon in Nice is extraordinary, from the 1982 beginning of the Nice International Triathlon, a race that for the first decade of the long distance triathlon mirrored the Ironman World Championship in terms of prestige and honor. For all of the 1980s, it was Kona and it was Nice. And the Nice International Triathlon became Ironman France over time, and led by the team here in Nice, led by Yves Cordier. And so there is a certain symmetry that we find extraordinary to be able to have a world championship in 2023 and 2024 that's going to be split between the two cities, the two most important cities in the history of long-distance triathlon. So we're delighted. Everything's new. We've never had an Ironman World Championship in Europe before. And we believe that it's going to create a different type of racing. It's going to create opportunities for different types of athletes. It's going to create opportunities for people who, for whatever reason, find it difficult to travel 12 time zones and half a world away to be able to race in Hawaii. It's the first time we're going to have 10 people of a single gender up on the stage, and we'll be able to talk in a lot more depth and detail around what we expect to see on Sunday. So we're excited. We think that the swim, the bike, the run, the venue, the hospitality of the Côte d'Azur is going to be extraordinary, and the people who are here are going to have a remarkable experience. So I'd like to introduce Deputy Mayor Greg Minetti from the Ville de Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to welcome you to Nice. And first, I want to say, for all the people of Nice, it's a big honor and a really pleasure to organize this international competition. I think it's a real and very, very big opportunity for our town. And I think Nice meet a legendary moment with this first edition of Ironman after Hawaii. And I just want to say, because it's important for me, for the Deputy Mayor of Nice, Christian Estrosi, to precise that all the people, to restaurant, to run cafe, hostel, in the street, who live here every year since a long time, speaks of Ironman. And I think it's a really pleasure, a really honor, because our town believe in this competition, believe in these opportunities, and I hope that everything is perfect, that because I think we are ready, and Nice, it's a town who develop a really ambitious sportive politics, and we try to make better for become a big city of international sport in the world. So if you want, I will just continue to speak French. It's better for me, but it was important to say a friendly word for you in English. Mesdames, Messieurs, je suis très heureux de vous accueillir à Nice naturellement. C'est un moment important pour nous puisque nous avons l'immense privilège, et je veux tout de suite remercier Andrew Messick, CEO of Ironman Group, d'avoir choisi Nice avec toute son équipe, avec son staff. Je crois que c'est une marque de confiance importante. Et naturellement, je veux saluer l'ensemble des bénévoles, du staff et de nos équipes de la ville qui sont mobilisées à vos côtés depuis plusieurs jours, depuis plusieurs semaines, mois, pour organiser cette compétition et permettre à nos grands champions et ces grands athlètes d'être dans les meilleures conditions possibles pour cette échéance qui est capitale pour eux, puisque vous savez toutes et tous ici les sacrifices, les efforts, les entraînements et le temps que cela exige, puisque l'Ironman est certainement la discipline sportive la plus difficile au monde, la plus exigeante. Vous dire enfin combien on est heureux, et on essaye avec Christian Estrosi de faire de Nice une grande ville du sport mondial. I try to say in English, maybe it's most explicit in French, but je crois que ce qui est essentiel, vous allez voir une ville dont le cœur bat en son plein dans toutes les rues, dans tous les commerces, dans tous les restaurants pour cette compétition. Je vois qu'il y a parmi les Niçoises et les Niçois une admiration, une fascination, et merci encore de nous avoir choisis parce que tout ça participe à une ambition. Sachez qu'à Nice, dans le même week-end, nous avons l'Ironman, le début de la Coupe du Monde de rugby avec ce soir un match d'ouverture France All Blacks qui sera notamment diffusé sur le Théâtre de Verdure dans une grande fan zone. Nous avons en 2024, nous allons accueillir pour la première fois de l'histoire l'arrivée du Tour de France, cette grande compétition de cyclisme, la plus regardée au monde, et tant d'autres choses. Et donc, du fond du cœur, je voulais vous dire un mot populaire, vous remercier. Je sais que pour tout le monde, on n'est que vendredi et que naturellement, chaque heure qui passe, le niveau d'intensité augmente. Mais je suis sûr que vous allez passer un bon moment, que vous allez aimer Nice et surtout que vous aurez envie de revenir. Merci à tous de la confiance.
Merci beaucoup. I think if I have to translate one thing, the most important thing is that Monsieur Monetti said that the most important sporting event to ever happen in Nice is the VinFast IRONMAN World Championship. Then there's a little Rugby World Cup happening, and then maybe the Tour de France next year. But it's definitely the VinFast Ironman World Championship. Our men will be racing. And talking about what a perfect location it is, I mean, you cannot get better. You've got the beautiful azure blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea for the swim. You've got the incredible Maritime Alps for the bike. And, of course, you've got the Promenade des Anglais for the run. It's an incredible place to race, but an even better place to come and holiday and train with the amazing restaurants et al. So thank you very, very much to those of you online on YouTube. We've got a treat for you because we've got 10 of the best male athletes on the planet who are about to walk in here and join us. And notice somebody already said, who are our professional athletes? And hopefully all of our media and the assembled people in the room will applaud them one by one as they join us. Racing with the bib number 11, local hero, grew up on the course. He's an Ironman France champion on debut last year. He's your 2023 Ironman Texas champion for France, Rudy Von Berg. Actually, for the USA, Rudy Von Berg. Representing France, your back-to-back Ironman European champion, took the win in Frankfurt last year, took the win again in Hamburg this year. He's a four-time Ironman champion, Denis Chevrot. Now we're moving to the Southern Hemisphere, representing New Zealand, five-time Ironman champion, third in the Ironman World Championship 2021, raced in St. George. It is Braden Currie. We have a stacked field of French athletes, and a huge welcome to wearing the bib number 8 is your World Triathlon long distance champion, and the first Frenchman in a very, very long time to win on the Promenade des Anglais when he became the Ironman France champion. It is Clement Mignon. In 8th place at the Ironman World Championship, Kona, Hawaii in 2022, personal best of a phenomenal, it is the best, 7 hours, 24 minutes, 40 seconds over the full distance. Your Ironman Cozumel champion as well from Denmark, Magnus Ditlev. He's a two-time Ironman champion, 6th at the Ironman World Championship 2021, raced in St. George. Also representing France, Chevalier. He's an 8-time Ironman champion. He loves these tough courses, and as a matter of fact, last year he raced here in the preamble to getting married. It was his bachelor's party on the course with some of his friends and fellow athletes. Representing Great Britain, Joe Skipper. Eighth at the Ironman World Championship 2021, second at the Ironman World Championship Kailua Kona 2022. Representing France, Sam Laidlaw. Two athletes remain. With the bib number 2, he's a 5-time Ironman champion. He's a 2-time Ironman World Champion. Representing Germany, Patrick Lange. Olympic gold medalist 2008, 2-time Ironman 70.3 world champion, 3-time Ironman world champion. Please put your hands together for Germany's Jan Frodeno. And for those of you watching on socials, we have some of your questions already, and we're going to take the opportunity to use as many of your questions as possible. But it's time to hear from our athletes, and Rudy, we'd love to start with you. Very much a home course. I mean, you know every grain of sand, or should I say pebble on the beach. You know every piece of tarmac on that bike course, and you know the Promenade des Anglais very well. You've got a lovely podium position here in 2019 at the 70.3 World Championship. And on debut, the win on the Promenade des Anglais. Special moment, it's a special place. What a privilege to race here.
Definitely. I mean, when you have a home race, it's always pretty special, and especially when it becomes a Ironman World Championship, which is the most important race for me in triathlon. And yeah, I mean, I grew up here, and I was coming here at the Ironman every year, watching the professionals when I was already just a few years old. I would go up on my mountain bike at the top of the Cl&eacute to see these warriors come up, and I always told myself I would be one day there racing, and hopefully up there with the top professionals. And yeah, now it's finally here, and it's always been kind of a dream for me to have a race here at the highest level, not just an average Ironman, but a world championship. And so this is the first time it's happened outside of Kona, and yeah, what an experience.
I think we would all agree with you. I mean, I've had the privilege of being in 2011, 2012, and a couple other years as the announcer of Ironman Nice, France. But arriving here with the World Championship week, just everything felt different. I mean, you used the word average. There's absolutely nothing average about this week.
Definitely not. I mean, from the caliber of the athletes to everything surrounding the event, the media, the photos, and all the people around the race. It's definitely a bigger and better event. And yeah, I mean, just can't wait to be out there on the course. It will be, I think that on Sunday will feel even extra special just racing out there.
What did you take from, that podium against the best athletes over the 70.3 distance in the world in 2019, and then also from winning on debut Ironman France? I mean, you had the Texas win this year already, but what did you take from that in terms of how you've prepared for the start on Sunday morning?
I mean, from the last Ironman win last year, that was as you said, my first full distance, and I think I'll have to definitely have a better performance than that to compete with the best on Sunday. And then from 2019, that's very good for the confidence because that was a world championship, and I was able to compete with the best and be on the podium. So, and as you said, I know the course really well, so that's definitely an advantage. But I think in the past, people weren't really, that wasn't really on their radar to know the course that well here. But, there's been so much talk about the course and about the downhills that all the guys have come and done some recon and know the downhill quite well now. So I think we're more on a level playing field on that side of things.
Good observation. So representing the USA, thank you very much, Rudy Von Berg, and all the best for your race on Sunday. We move across now, one of our many French athletes competing, Denis Chevrot. Denis, a fabulous win to back up your European Championship with a very stacked field as well. If you take that win, in June this year, and if you look at being French in France, there could be no better fuel in your tank.
Yes, true, but these two races are very different. Hamburg is very flat, this one not. So on Hamburg I was in really good shape. I'm still in good shape, but the win in Hamburg doesn't make me more confident about that race.
Fair enough. If I look at one of your best results in Kona was a 14th position, obviously an extremely different course, and that would surely, being French in France, that changes the confidence in terms of the results expected of yourself, by yourself for Sunday.
Yes, I raced 6 World Championship, but I never had a good day yet, so I expect to have it on a Sunday. And it's easier for family, for friends to come and cheer here in this than in Hawaii. So on the race day, I will have a lot of supporters, and yes, it will be an extra motivation. And maybe if you already gave it everything, you maybe will have still one more to give.
I remember an athlete once saying, when racing at home with all that local support, actually, that athlete said it was almost too much pressure. But when they converted the pressure into energy, it changed their racing. How do you feel about the local support?
I think at the beginning of the run, I will be far from the lead, so they will focus on the other French, and I will be in my zone, and maybe at the end, if I race and if I run well, I can transfer the pressure and motivation.
That actually brings me to one of the questions we had on social media, and it was directed specifically at you. Are you going to save what's on the bike for the run, or are you just going to go, go, go?
I will race like I do every time. I want to have no regrets after the finish line, so I won't save energy on the bike to run faster than if not, but I won't go, go, go on the bike because I want a strong race in the 3 parts.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. For France, Denis Chevrot. Bonne chance. We move to Braden Currie. He's going to grab the mic from Rudy Von Berg, representing New Zealand. A huge welcome to you, Braden. You've had a less than traditional, journey towards triathlon racing. If you look at everything you did you've done back home in New Zealand, I mean, just at the coast to coast and the exterior racing as well, very technical racing. And if I think of the courses you've done so well in, everybody is saying that this course is actually perfect for you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the course is great. The competition's hard. But yeah, it's great. It's technical. It's a lot of climbing. You know, there's always a difference between technical mountain biking and technical kind of road descending. So we'll see how that stacks up with the Euros.
It would appear on paper that the Euros have the advantage because this is kind of their territory. They're used to the climbs and the technical descents, etc. And a lot of the talk around the race has been, oh, the climbs. But it's not just one thing that's going to make or break the race.
Yeah, no, not at all. That whole race is going to just blow up completely, I believe. I think there's so many points where you can push so much power that you're probably going to regret later on in the race, or maybe that's what will make your race. It's definitely going to play a big game, you know, gambling game of where you're ready to play your cards and how that's going to work out for you. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually raced that well in Europe when I've come over here. I've always battled with kind of getting in the time zone and shaking the travel off. But yeah, hopefully this time I've had a really good block at altitude up in St. Moritz for the last month and a few weeks down here. So I feel pretty settled into Europe now in the time zone, and hopefully it helps my racing.
When we look at the previous results and the races on this course in the past, obviously the field of athletes was a little bit different. I mean, do we have to throw history away completely? Is it a blank canvas on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I think the race is just going to be so much more on from the gun, and people are going to be. It's a world champs. You know, we come here. I mean, maybe it's talking too much, but I won't be happy if I don't get on the podium, kind of thing. So I'll be prepared to risk, you know, anything to be up there. And you know, if I'm going for the win, then I completely detonate. Then whatever, that's kind of risk I'll take it at a world champs, because I'm not too phased about just finishing down the ranks, to be honest. So I think everyone here is prepared to risk a lot more, and that'll make for some pretty tough racing.
It'll make for some tough racing, but it'll make for some extremely exciting racing as well, I think. So all the best to you. Best of luck to New Zealand's Braden Currie as we move to another one of our French athletes who got a lot of attention earlier this year, becoming World Triathlon Long Distance World Champion. But also, it's almost like there was even more noise, more excitement, more a celebration when you were the first athlete down the finish line here on the Promenade des Anglais for Ironman Nice.
Yeah. I win the Ironman Nice in June. It was very special because it was my first Ironman win also. Yes, it was also special because I live here at Nice, and yeah, it was only my third Ironman races, and it will be my fourth this weekend. And yes, I know it's special because when you live here, you have a lot of cheers, but also it's so much different at Kona because it's just at 2K the start line for me. So yes, it's very, very good things, I think. I'm a little bit less stressful also than in June because I didn't have my qualification in June, and the end of the qualification for Nice finished in July, so it was a little bit short to have qualification because with at the beginning of the year, the main goal for me was to qualify at Nice at the World. So yes, I'm happy, and now I'm very excited to be Sunday.
And in June, you got to experience, obviously, the entire course. There's all that talk about the bike, about the climbs, about the descents, but we haven't spoken much yet about the run on the Promenade des Anglais, which you experienced in June. It might be flat, and it might be 4 easy laps in and out, but there's nothing easy about that marathon.
Yeah, that's true. It's a tough bike, but the most difficult for me it's the run part because it's very difficult mentally. We do 4 loops, and it's 5K straight, and it's difficult to have a repair on the Promenade des Anglais because all the landscape are the same also. And with all people is difficult also because also during the training we run on the track cycling just next to, and it's impossible to run on the road with car during training. So yes, also it's flat, but with the wind and with the heat, it's very difficult. During in June, it was around 33 degrees, and I think it's almost the same for Sunday. So I know the difficult for the race.
Merci beaucoup, Clement, and bonne chance. Yeah, it was hot in June, but it's going to be even hotter because look who we are racing against. Thank you so much. As we move now to Magnus Ditlev, representing Denmark. Magnus, a name that just gets said so often in triathlon, but you haven't been around that long, actually, in terms of professional triathlon.
No, I think I'm probably one of the guys that started triathlon the latest. Like my triathlon age is really young, and I've only really raced professionally for a few years. So it's it has been a steep learning curve, and to sit here besides all these super professional and gentlemen, and also a lot of my previous idols, still idols, but and actually believing that I have a shot of racing for the win is super special.
Without a doubt. I mean, 2 incredible long-distance wins, that time of 7:24:40. But the truth be told, you can look at all the results and you can look at the history, but when the gun goes on Sunday, that means absolutely nothing. It's how you feel on the day.
Yeah, obviously I take a lot of confidence from my previous long-distance and Ironman races, but also it's clear that this course is much different than any other full-distance Ironman race I've done so far. So that's what I think is really cool about this race. You really don't know what's going to happen, and I think we'll be in for a lot of surprises out there.
When it comes to surprises, so much of the talk, as we've mentioned, we're going to say it again and again, revolves around that full gas bike course. And when we talk bike, we talk Magnus.
Yeah, it's an interesting bike course, and I've heard a lot of people talking about my bad descending skills and my heavy weight and everything. So we'll see on race day. I feel pretty confident that I'm going to climb very well, and also have a few tricks on the downhills I haven't showed yet. So I think it's the harder the bike course for me, the better.
There we go, warning shots fired at his idols from Denmark. Magnus Ditlev, hello Luca. Good luck to you, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
We move now to another one of our French athletes, Léon Chevalier. Léon, how special to be French, racing a world championship in France. But if I look at your results, if I look at that incredible race in Mallorca, which has also got that big climb on it and that fairly technical descent, if we look at you, you are the Ironman African champ as well from Ironman South Africa in Nelson Mandela Bay earlier this year. Also a difficult bike course, but for very, very different reasons. How much are you looking forward to Sunday?
I'm looking forward to Sunday quite a lot because just, the last 10 months basically have been geared towards that day. I'm really excited about, for me it's a third world champs and it's a third different location. It feels like this maybe should be the norm. I don't know, maybe some other people will disagree, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase different skill sets from different athletes, have different race scenarios, different race dynamics, and if you can be a world champion on loads of multiple courses, that's the true mark of a complete athlete. And I'm excited for Sunday just because it's a new course and one that suits me probably even better than the other 2 world champ courses where I've done all right. So we'll see on Sunday.
You say you've done it right. I mean, nothing wrong with 7th place last year, October, on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. And if we look at your results, I mean, your wins are on very, very tough courses, even, outside of Ironman.
Yeah, Ironman is pretty difficult, but I'd like making it even harder for myself somehow. The bike is definitely my strength, and the longer the race in terms of duration, the more opportunity I have to create a gap maybe on the bike and somehow hold on the run. It's no secret that the swim is my weakness, and I need time after that to make up that deficit. So Nice is definitely that. It's a hard course. It's going to be a longer bike than usual, but I've raced multiple times. 8 hours 45, 9 hours 30. So shouldn't be a problem on Sunday.
Sounds like you're looking forward to a long day. Leon Chevalier, I hope you have your best day. From France, good luck to you and thank you very much. We move across to Great Britain's Joe Skipper. Joe, always a pleasure to have you here. I'm not going to ask you to act natural because no barking this morning, please. Save that for the course on Sunday. Absolutely hilarious. You bring so much personality to the racing as well. You're no stranger to winning on tough courses as well. I mean, not much tougher than Ironman Wales. Ironman UK pretty tough as well.
Yeah, Wales was probably one of my best days. Kind of replicated what I did before that last year, and hopefully have the legs that I did in Wales last year. That was probably my best performance to date, but it wasn't a championship race, so kind of went unnoticed a bit. So yeah, if I can feel like that on race day, I'll be really pleased, and hopefully it'll be in the mix.
There are a lot of British athletes racing here, and I know there are a lot of people from the United Kingdom online watching. But I just sort of looking back, it's kind of thanks to former multiple Ironman champion Lucy Gossage that you're racing triathlon as a professional athlete.
Yeah, it was Lucy that got me into it back in the day. She said, get a pro license and you can race for free. So I did that and been going ever since.
You were here last year and you kind of didn't really take it seriously per se because it was your bachelor's, wasn't it, last year here in Nice? Yeah,
it was. I was going to be taking it seriously, but I had COVID in March and that kind of put me back, and then I got the late call up for sub 7 a week beforehand and didn't want to do another Ironman properly in the same month after recovering from that. But I had to be in Nice to start my stag party because all my friends were racing and we were going on a road trip from there. So I was like, well, I'll give it a go, but I'm not going to take it too serious, and I wasn't really planning on doing the run. But then as it got closer to the race, I was like, actually, I'll give it a bit of a crack, and just died in the heat. I remember the water being boiling, thinking non-wetsuit, and then they said jellyfish on the day, wetsuit. Somehow had a good swim and got out in the front group, which is very unusual for me, and then was just cooked for the rest of the race. And I just remember sat at the top of the hill waiting for my friend Tom to come up, who was borrowing my gravel bike for it, and we were just like, we'll just cruise around on the bike and get to the end. But I'm glad I did do the bike though, because obviously back then we had no idea this was going to be the World Championship course for this year, so having done that was like a little bit of a recce and an eye-opener, and I'm glad it's not going to be as hot this Sunday as what it was last June, because that definitely added another challenging element to the race.
And in terms of opening your eyes, what did you see that you've taken into Sunday?
The climb, the big one, the Col de l'Écre. I didn't realise how long and how long it goes on for, really, and lack of aid stations on that. That was definitely something to note. And the second one, because everyone kind of talks about the one big climb and then makes it sound like you're on a plateau and then it's all downhill. But the second one, the 9K one before the descent, is going to be the sting in the tail. And knowing how that feels in the Ironman is definitely a benefit. And I think that's going to catch a lot of people out, to be honest.
Representing Great Britain, the best of luck to Joe Skipper.
Thanks.
We now move to wearing the bib number 3 for Sunday in the Ironman World Championship 2021, race in St. George at 8th. And then in Kona last year, you were dominating the TV time in front for so long and an incredible second place. Did that change your life, Sam Laidlaw?
For sure, yeah, because I'm sat here now, you know. I keep having to pinch myself. It's an amazing opportunity I've got here, and I've grown up watching these races, these athletes, and these press conferences. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity and looking forward to Sunday. Yeah, I'm healthy and really excited to go.
Relatively speaking, we can say both a veteran and new. You know, I mean, you've basically, triathlon's been in your blood since the age of 4. You've grown up a triathlete, and then, you know, at a young age in 2022, second place at the Ironman World Championship. Does that actually put pressure on you now, or do you still say, hey, I'm a young man, I've got a long way to go still?
I got asked this question in the Ironman interview as well, and I think I have the same reply. It's that I don't
like I'm on my journey, and I will one day win this race, and that's my goal, you know. And but yeah, whatever happens on Sunday is just part of that process. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like the pressure should be on me. I'm 24. I've got the fastest time in Kona of anybody here, which is pretty amazing to remind myself. And yeah, I mean, I think the pressure should be on these guys. It's this guy. It's his last dance.
We're going to talk about that dance shortly. He's got his dancing shoes on. Somebody's just chirping on social media, on YouTube as we speak. That guy's not French.
Yeah, I love living in France, and I've had the best lifestyle, so I do. Yeah, and France has got me to where I am today. But yeah, I think I'm probably a Brit at heart.
So that answered the question. Any more questions on YouTube, keep them coming. Representing France on Sunday, bonne chance, Sam Laidlaw. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
2 more athletes to speak to, both representing Germany. Our 2-time Ironman World Champion, Patrick Lange. We chat to you first. Patrick, do you take anything away from, you know, your brilliant first debut in Kona, 3rd place? It was 3 Germans on the podium, and the fact that at the VinFast Ironman 70.3 World Championship in Lahti, just around the corner, just a few days ago, we had 3 Germans in the men's race on that podium. Is that a good omen for Sunday?
Yeah, I think it is, definitely. It definitely took me back to 2016 when Jan Sevi and I finished on the podium, and I think it gave a little extra push for the final preps. And yeah, let's hope that we have some Germans on the podium on Sunday as well.
Very, very difficult to predict because it's a brand new course in terms of racing as a world championship, and when you put the best athletes on the start line, it changes the dynamic completely. I happen to have the honor of welcoming you down the finish line first in Israel at the Ironman Middle East Championship with that insane 2:30 run of yours. Is that possible on the Promenade des Anglais?
It is possible. I'm pretty sure of that, and I think in 10 years' time this will be the norm to run 2:30 to take the win, especially in a World Championship. So yeah, happy to be the first one who introduced kind of this new time. But definitely it's a different race. You've been there in Israel. It was pouring rain all day long. It was definitely colder. The course was a little bit more undulating, which I like definitely more than the dead flat course. So I agree that we definitely don't talk enough about the tough run course. So of course the bike course stings out super hard. But with the heat, the humidity, the winds, and like this, you cannot use different muscle groups. It's just all in for this flat run. It's going to be really challenging. I think especially on the first lap, you come off that hard bike course, you have all this, I expect massive crowds down on the Promenade des Anglais and shouting at you. So keep yourself a little bit calm when you start the run. Going to be really, really hard. But yeah, I definitely try to give my best to clock another 2:30. That's for sure.
I'm glad we're talking a bit about the run, and I want to briefly jump back to the bike because, you know, I think I heard you saying, it might have been when you were chatting to Bob Babbitt, about how on paper you've done so well on the Big Island and the humidity and the heat and the lava fields of Kailua Kona, Hawaii. But on paper, theoretically, this course suits you better.
Yeah, but you know, it's not only on the paper. We do the talking on the course. Of course, a lot of people are talking about power to weight ratios, and me being a light athlete. Jan and I were joking about our leg lengths. He's so much taller. Yeah, you know, I don't. Of course, I go into the climb with that in mind, and I think it is a benefit going up. But what goes up must come down. You know, we cannot forget about the descent. It's going to be really technical. So it's a big unknown for every one of us, because racing in the World Championship level is definitely a different ball game. to a normal Ironman. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And after the race, in 2 years' time, we have a lot of learnings, I think.
Representing Germany, your two-time Ironman World Champion, Patrick Lange. Vielen Dank, alles Gute, viel Erfolg.
Danke dir.
Wearing the number 1, 3-time Ironman World Champion for the last dance, Germany's Jan Frodeno. Is there pressure to make it for Jan?
There's always pressure, and I've always had pressure, and I've loved pressure. You know, one of my credos is pressure makes diamonds, and it's something I relish, because if that pressure wouldn't exist, I might as well go climbing, you know, around the local streets of Andorra and see if I can get a Strava KOM. This is a world championship. This is where the strongest of the strong guys looking in this line all get together, and you know, we kind of all meet up to kick our heads in for 8 hours and see who comes out on top. And that's beautiful. Honestly, that's dominated my life for the last 23 years. And it's really, yeah, quite emotional in many ways to be here one more time and live that pressure, live for that pressure, and see what I can do with that pressure.
You mentioned 23 years. And I've spoken to some other athletes who go, they just don't know how you manage to keep yourself so motivated to stay at the pinnacle all the time and deliver these results. But let's go back. I heard you make reference, I know you've been training with South Africa's Brad Weiss, who's also lining up with our professional men, and I heard you make reference to training with a South African and how somehow it's appropriate because that's how it started, South Africa.
Yeah, I grew up in South Africa, and I learned about triathlon in a small country race in the middle of nowhere, probably 150k out from Cape Town, and was running around in a pair of budgie smugglers, because that's how I'd seen triathlon on TV in LA. Probably some images of Mark running around in just his Speedos, and I almost got arrested because that's considered public indecency in South Africa. So that was a humble beginning a long time ago, but it's been a wonderful journey, and to have Brad, you know, the guy who may well have one of the, if not the best power to weight ratio of anyone, has been equally motivating, frustrating at times when you see how quick those guys can climb, but you know, part of going full circle for me.
Did you have any idea how fortuitous it would be that move from Girona to Andorra? Because you had no idea that the Men's World Championship would be raced in Nice. And when we look at the coals and the mountains in Andorra, I mean, probably the best playground to prep for Sunday.
It was funny because I was here in 2018 and I looked at the 70.3 course and I was like, nah, I'm going home. This is not for me. I'm not made out for this. And then, you know, moved to Andorra at the time, more of a rocky concept to go to the mountain and really focus and get out of my comfort zone and attack one more time to try and get to the pinnacle of the sport one more time. Round about a couple of months before Andrew made his famous announcement, and we all know when he makes an announcement, it was unfortunately not April Fool's Day. And you know, being here and having gone through this journey, I can say I actually like the call. I think it's a really cool venue. I think there's a lot of history here. The French love triathlon, and you know, I remember racing French Grand Prix and just how it's kind of ingrained in the sports DNA here. And so, yeah, moving to Andorra was a lucky shot. I mean, I have about 10 climbs that are an hour long at my doorstep, and that's something I've been able to learn over the last year.
As Patrick said, everything that goes up must come down. Let's talk about those descents. I think you're on record as saying you like to take risks.
Yeah, it's my thing. All talking of KOMs, all the KOMs I own in my life are all descents, downhills. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that card. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There's some fantastic technical riders here, and I think it brings an element of fun and adrenaline that's not common in Ironman racing per se. It's a course that probably wouldn't pass health and safety standards in America simply because the turns are a little bit steep, and when you go down in a full race setup, it gets very, very fast as well. But I think most of the guys here will agree. It's just adds a very special element, and I'm kind of grateful for the challenge.
Mark Allen was saying that in his final race, when he knew he was calling it quits, it was his final race, he actually felt no pressure because he'd achieved what he wanted to achieve. Would that be fair? Do you feel that at all, or are the butterflies still flying out of formation?
Well, I've definitely got the butterflies, and I've been sleeping bad for about a week, which tells me that I'm nervous, and tells me that it still matters, and I do deeply care. I understand, though, what he means to a degree, at least from my perspective, that you find a kind of inner peace, and you find time to reflect, and you know, it's a very interesting time because it's definitely a unique approach that I've never had before a race. And going in and going to a swimming pool and knowing this is the last time you can or perhaps have to swim 3100s at threshold. You know, it's something I never thought I'd miss. But I got out of the pool and I was like, geez, that's kind of, it's a little bit sad too. And, you know, it's a whirlwind of emotions, but it's been an incredible journey. And yeah, I'm looking forward to completing it on Sunday.
Wearing the number 1, your 3-time Ironman World Champion, Jan Frodeno, Germany. Auf Deutsch viel Erfolg, in Afrikaans sterkte boet.
Merci.
We have a couple of questions on social as well. I'm gonna pose 1 or 2 of those questions, and then we're gonna open up the floor to our media. When we do open up to the floor to the media, please make sure that you state your name and your affiliate, your outlet. We'll bring the microphone to you, and then you can ask your question. But Nick Rose posed a question. He says, with all the tech on the bike and everyone with great positions, great tech, great nutrition, surely it's all going to come down to the run. And he asked me to ask you that question, Jan.
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't. I agree with, well, I think Braden put it very well. There are going to be some fireworks, and there's going to be some risk tactics. There's going to be some people losing their nerves and going too hard too soon, or perhaps being too conservative. You know, this is such a blank canvas that I think we will definitely know more on Sunday evening, and that's, I think, what makes it the most exciting from a spectating point of view, that this will definitely not be a waiting for the marathon kind of course.
Thank you, Jan. I'm going to pose this question to Rudy Von Berg because you are a local and you know this course incredibly well. You've grown up here. Matt just saying very hot at the moment and forecasted to be hot on Sunday as well. Do you think the heat will add a factor to taking a bit out of the legs on the bike as well that will show itself on the Promenade des Anglais?
I think so, definitely. Yeah. I think in Kona, people are talking a lot about the heat and humidity, and here a lot about just the downhills and the bike course. But south of France in the summer is pretty sneaky hot and humid, and yeah, we'll definitely feel it. Especially it doesn't get cooler up there at the top of the climbs, and it actually gets more and more exposed as you get up. And then as you come down back to Nice and you start running, you'll definitely feel the extra degrees down here. The Promenade des Anglais is just, the feel of it is just a few degrees hotter than anywhere else, really. And as Clement said, it's just kind of mentally very difficult, very straight. So that with the heat, it will definitely play a big factor, I think.
Thank you very much, Rudy, and thank you to everybody posing your questions. We've got so many media here, I'd like to give the opportunity to our members of the media. Remember, please state your name and your affiliate. We'll bring the microphone to you. Questions from the floor, please. Matt? Here comes the mic.
Matt Lieto with Ironman. Jan, I saw a wry smile when Braden was talking about going deep enough for an explosion. And, you know, talking to all these athletes this week, specifically Magnus asking what he had after this, and he said, my world ends on Sunday. Your triathlon world ends on Sunday. Is there possibly a different depth that you're willing to go on this very last day compared to a normal World Championship?
I'd like to say yes, but then I think I haven't lacked effort in previous efforts either. But yeah, there is definitely a willingness to go all in, and for me, a kind of freedom. I feel like this is kind of a race where, I just deserve to go and play out and have the best day, and see what happens. You know, it's definitely, for me, been so much in the whole preparation process as well, coming back to basics, coming back to origin, and going away from, you know, the trend of controlling, measuring, and fine-tuning everything, but rather going on feel and emotion. And, you know, that can come out with huge benefits and could also be a moonshot that ends up with the Challenger mission. So I hope for the earlier.
Thank you for your question, Matt. More members of the media would love to hear your questions. Yes, please, if you could state your name and affiliate, we'll bring the microphone to you, just over here in front.
Thank you. My name is Mika Tokarin from Triathlon Lumina magazine. And question to the athlete who have raced in Kona. What's the biggest difference for the preparation period for this race and compared to the Kona? And also, what's the biggest difference about the bike setting compared to Kona?
You've been chosen, Leon.
Thank you, Jan. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to prepare for Kona last year. To be honest, the preparation was similar-ish for me. I'm very new to, professional long-distance triathlon. So it's not like I've got years and years of experience of, bashing out the same regimen or the same recipe for Kona and getting it right. I'm still grabbing at the low-hanging fruit when it comes to training. So for me, it's been going up to altitude. This year, I've actually gone up for like 8.5 weeks in the mountains. Just getting used to going uphill and especially coming downhill on a TT bike with a disc wheel. The biggest change in terms of equipment is having two chain rings at the front. I know Magnus seems to have gone with the one by. I did consider it, but in training, I also wanted the option of having the small ring, and I can't be bothered to change it all in race week. So stick to what you know and what's been working. So yeah, 2 chain rings, and obviously you'd like to shave some weight on your equipment if you can, because it will matter more than Kona, where aero is the biggest player. But Cervelo makes the fastest TT bike out there. Sorry guys, and the lightest one. So I'm happy with what I've got, and yeah. Otherwise, just standard Ironman preparation and just get ready for descents, basically.
Thank you for your question. Do we have more questions from our media? I have one more question via social, and I'm actually going to pose it to Jan first, and anybody else who'd like to answer, you're welcome. The question via YouTube and the socials earlier in the week is, other than those assembled with you here at the press conference, who else are you going to be looking over your shoulder for?
To be honest, I've been preparing the last months with Brad Weiss, who I said is to me definitely a dark horse to watch out for. I mean,
who else should we be watching out for and tracking on the Tracker app on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the top contenders are definitely here, and that's why we're here. I think Cam will obviously play a role in the dynamic of the race. I think he can go downhill fast, even though I don't think the descent's that technical, but he just knows how to go fast when you have to go fast, and it's a descent where you really have to keep pedaling, and I think it's just a bike course where you have to have strong legs at the end of the day, and he does that. He practices that the whole year pretty much. So I think Cam will play a good role. And then similar to Jan, my training partner's been going really well. He just won Emberman and beat Leon's record. Yeah, and he dropped me the other day on the bike. So yeah, just saying.
And if you could just name him for everybody watching on YouTube.
Arthur Orso.
Yves Cordier also mentioned the name Arthur Orso. Any more members of the media with your questions? Can we please give our professional men a massive round of applause? To everybody who's been watching on YouTube, thank you for being part of the VinFast Ironman World Championship here in Nice, France, our men's professional press conference. We've got the welcome banquet tonight. It is bike check-in tomorrow. And the big dance will be on Sunday morning. Make sure you tune in and watch. We're going to get a group photograph with everybody here. Thank you to the media. Thank you to everybody. And enjoy the VinFast Ironman World Championship Nice, France. Merci beaucoup.